My book's about my journey, but also about the nomadic people of Central Asia. So when I was 21 years old, I rode a bicycle across Russia to China, and I ended up in Mongolia and became totally enthralled by these people who would just come out of nowhere on their horses. They come up and say hello and then gallop off to the horizon, and it left me feeling like a wimpy tourist just pushing my bike along a road that had a predetermined path. So I wanted to know more about who these nomads were, and I was fascinated by Genghis Khan, who became the leader of the largest land empire in history, but who wasn't some leader who sat on his throne in a castle. He was a nomad who grew up in a tent on a horse. So I wanted to ride a horse from Mongolia to Hungary, and the book is about my 3.5-year experience of learning about these nomadic people, who they are today, what their past was, and what their future is. To start with, I did the journey for my own personal fascination. I wanted to know who the nomads were, what their culture was like, but then as I travelled, I realised that the story, there was a really important story to be told about what's going on in places like Kazakhstan, Mongolia, southern Russia. There's a place called Kalmykia, which is the only Buddhist republic in Europe, which not many people know about, and they're ethnic Mongols. And it's a unique time in history after the collapse of the Soviet era, where all of these different nomadic communities have an opportunity for revival, but that window is quite small because it's being their cultures are at risk of being wiped out from now the market economy, the oil boom in Kazakhstan, the mining in Mongolia. And so this book's really for everyone who's interested in nomadic people, who they really are, and people who want to know more about Central Asia, Mongolia, which is like a geographical black spot in our Western knowledge in a way, and also for people who would like some inspiration for a personal adventure that was really personally challenging and taught me a lot about the human spirit. It's the culmination of a 10-year project, because the journey took 3.5 years, and then the book has taken me 4.5 years to write, and I made a film for 2 years. So to me it's all the one big project, and it's the biggest project of my life so far, but most importantly I think that it's a really unique accomplishment to collect all the stories of all of the people across Eurasia, which hasn't been done in centuries really, from Mongolia to Hungary, all of the different Eurasian steppe peoples. And I was lucky that I could do the journey and write the book, because for most of the 20th century this kind of trip would have been impossible. And so I think it means it's like this whole journey has defined my life. So it's like holding the book's like holding my life in my hand. I'd like to write a children's book about my dog Tigan, who came with me for 3.5 years on the journey, and my horses. Tigan is an amazing character who he was given to me by an old Kazakh herder who said that I needed a friend to go with me on my journey to keep me warm at night in the tent and protect me from the wolves. And I looked at this small runt of a dog and thought, he's not going to survive more than 2 weeks in the cold. But of course he grew into a big, beautiful dog who had his own parallel journey. So he has the potential to inspire thousands and thousands of children with his story. and so I'd like to do that. But beyond that project, I'm really interested by the Gypsy people and how they arrived at where they now live in Europe, and I think it's particularly interesting with all the, it's a divisive issue in Europe really, as to how you treat Gypsies, how you look at them, how you manage them politically, like we've seen in France, for example, where they've been sending Gypsies back to Romania. So I wanted to travel. I want to travel from India to Europe on the trail of the Roma people, Gypsies, and essentially along the approximate migratory path that they took over many centuries, from India to Europe. I'd like to say thank you to all the people who've already written to me because of the film on Arte. I think that I feel really lucky to have my book published in German, and I think that German readers will probably understand the meaning of the story in the book, the personal journey and the cultural side of things, probably better than people in my own home country, and thanks to the great German state broadcaster ZDF really, which helped to get my whole story shared with lots of people. So I hope you enjoy the book. Yeah.